6-2 it finished. There was a lot of speculation as to whether Son would be dropped to the bench after not scoring so far this season. He was, but he came on in the 59th minute and scored a second-half hat-trick, adding to the goals already scored by Kane, Dyer and Bentancur. So you were right, Stevie, that's just what he needed. You said he should be dropped, and look what the response was.
Yeah, I mean, it's amazing what a kick up the backside does for somebody. Even as good a player as Heung-min Son. And you saw when he came on. Listen, normally Heung-min Son is full of energy. But I'll tell you what, as soon as he came on, he was at it. And the way he took the first goal, I mean, that's not a guy who hasn't got a goal this year, who puts this ball in the top corner. It's just a guy who's got a point to prove and who's determined to prove it. And then, as we saw from there, second one, left peg, top corner again. Gets a little fortunate here, goalie gets a hand to it, but there's your hat-trick. And boy, does Conte have a decision to make next time out.
I'm sure it's a nice headache for him to have, though. Jan, you couldn't ask for a better way to break a goal drought, surely, as a striker.
Absolutely not, the way he took the goals. But I also, with Stevie, I mean, you need sometimes as a striker and put yourself also in a attacking, a challenger position, as Conte did with him. And people will say, yeah, Conte will think he did a mistake and putting him on the bench. No, before the game, I was 100% with Conte. That's what you sometimes need. Take a bit pressure of you, but then coming back and score a hat-trick in 13 minutes. And you just felt that when you saw when he did his two great goals, and then when he came one against the goalkeeper, but you always knew that goal will come from that situation. But maybe 2 games ago, the goalkeeper would have saved that. That is a funny psychology of football and football strikers and goal getters. That's just what's happening. And Sir Alex Ferguson said once, when you are a striker and when you score, you think you will score forever. And if you don't score, you think you will never score a goal again. And that was a proof of that today with Son.
Yeah.
It does help Danny Ward's in goals for the opposition, though. Let's be honest.
Obviously, not going well for Leicester at the moment, which we'll definitely get to. But in terms of Son, Frank, we've seen Conte being very supportive of him throughout this, and he looked very happy for him too. Everybody was happy for him after this performance today.
Yes, and I was one of them because, and on top of it, you know, I've been pretty much critical towards Conte and sometimes his managing and what he does, but hat off to what he decided to do with Son today, putting him on the bench, you know, creating a reaction or expecting a reaction from him, and it's what happened. And I think everybody, even if you're in a neutral situation like we are, or even if you're an Arsenal fan or a Chelsea fan, I think you have to pay respect to Son's career and the way he behaves on the field and the way he works, and feeling pretty sad or upset about the fact that he couldn't score goals. And today he's just showing his professionalism, his talent, his skills in the world of football. And the reaction is a man reaction, is a grown-up reaction, and a very professional one. And it was a fantastic decision for Conte and a great reaction from Son. So if you love football, you have to be delighted by what happened this afternoon at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium.
OK, you know who won't be delighted after today's performance is Leicester. Maddison goal aside, so many moments that you could pick out in this game. Things just aren't going their way, particularly how easy Ndidi was robbed for Bentancur's goal as well, Stevie.
Well, I guess the nice way to put it is things are not going their way. But you know what? Now and again, things don't go your way. But when you're asking for trouble, then in the Premier League, if you're asking anybody to cause you trouble, then they're going to oblige. And not just in the way that particular goal when Ndidi got robbed of the ball, but just in general. Look, you can't win a game of football if you don't defend. And Leicester don't defend. That's 22 goals in 7 games. You've got no chance of winning a game if you're letting in more than 3 goals. 3 goals a game? Are you serious? That means to get a point, you've got to score 3. And right now, as lively as they look sometimes going forward, and as lively as they did look today, they scored 2 goals, and at 3-2, it seemed tight. But they don't take enough of those chances, and when they're giving goals away for fun, listen, they have to change the way they play. They cannot think that they can play their way out of relegation. Because they've tried it. They've gone 7 games. They've tried to... This old nonsense. I'm going to stick to my principles. Well, guess what? Your principles have got you bottom of the league.
No, that's stupid.
As far as the team on the field is concerned. You can look at the stuff off the field about not getting back in the transfer market, you know, selling your best centre back. Woe is me. You have to get on the field with what you have and make it work. And right now, Brendan Rodgers and his players are not making it work.
Jan?
No. Now, I get this Swindon Town feeling. I play with Swindon Town in the Premiership. We did some great things going forward. We scored goals. When it came to the end of the season, we scored more than Arsenal, I think, who was 4th in the league, but we conceded 100 goals. I remember we lost 7-1. We 7-1 at St James's Park. And next day, our manager, the best man in football, John Gorman, said to me, "But Jan, we did some great passing." You know, it's like, and if you saw that game, Leicester was good going forward. But first of all, they can't count, because on set pieces, there's no way they can mark. That is point one. And then they try to play themselves out without self-confidence, without the skill, and without the ability to do that. And then you have to feel sorry for them. But I think that Brendan Rodgers, I heard his interview after the game as well, and he kept going that we were good going forward. I think that Brendan Rodgers would have a long, long international break now, very long.
Yeah, Frank, how do you think about stopping shipping all those goals? As Stevie mentioned, 22 goals conceded in 7 games.
Well, you have to go back to the basics, you know. And we talked about Manchester United when they were trying to play from the back, like 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago. And we said they have to stop that. You have to kick the long ball and try to play a little bit further up. And it's what Leicester should do. And the 3rd goal they conceded is exactly the example of what not to do. And they try to play from the back. They concede goal, and I agree with Stevie. The goalkeeper is not also a big mark of confidence, so it's complicated. So play a little bit further up, because you know how to play football. It's okay. Then go back to the basics. They have to work on set pieces. They've been conceding corner kicks and goals on corner kicks so many times that it's not professional. So they have to mark, and it's up to Brendan Rodgers to work on that and to make sure that it's going to be an improvement in that matter. Otherwise, they're going to go down, because yes, you can play good football, but if you concede 3 goals per game, you're going to go down. You're going to be relegated, and that's unfair, because the quality of the player are there. The qualities, of the players are there. They have everything they need to, of course, stay in the Premier League. But they have to go back to the basics, defending a bit.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it, when you think of the fact that Leicester City won the Premier League not so long ago. This is the bottom half of the table. They are rooted to the bottom. No wins for them so far. And as we mentioned, 22 goals conceded in 7 games. Lots to be thinking about for Brendan Rodgers. Meanwhile, Spurs, 17 points is their joint best record at this stage in a season, level with the 16-17 season, when they actually finished as runners-up to Conte's Chelsea.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week, subscribe to ESPN+.